Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of FishTown here in City Skylines 2, where you're now witnessing the brand new little kind of water crossing that we set up in the last episode to kind of help tackle the bike traffic. And we kind of, I won't say fixed it, but we improved it on two different fronts. Actually, three fronts, when I think about it. One, we incorporated this brand new little ferry crossing as we now bring all of our passengers over to our harbour, which has now allowed us to kind of create a little bit of a shortcut route. It's free to transfer over, and it's absolutely amazing. The second one is we've increased the amount of buses on the road, so there's more availability to get people to their, locations a whole lot quicker. But also we rejigged the bike routes in general. It doesn't now connect everywhere. It kind of extends on some bike paths, and it kind of, rather than running into a bunch of junctions to what it was before, it now runs directly into the road, and they are then integrated within the city, and that's really alleviated a lot of my bike pressures. Now, at moments, it does get a little bit busy, but overall, it's so much better than what it was before. Last episode, we also implemented our brand new industrial area, and I asked you guys to give me some name suggestions for it, and there was so many. There was actually so many right now. I'm going to have to pull these up right now, because some of them are hilarious. But there's one that I favored more than ever. And if I can quickly find it right now, before we talk about what we're going to be doing in today's episode, then we can rename this and get ready to rock and roll. And the comment is coming from your boy Doge Plays right now, and he said we should name it Coral Reef Works. I like it. It's fishy themed and got the works on the end, makes it feel like it is an industrial area. So, Doge Plays, I really do appreciate that. Coral Reef. I can't even spell today. What's going on? Coral Reef Works. There we go. We got there in the end. So, as the expansions continue, before I tell you exactly what we're going to be doing right now, I just want to say, if you are enjoying the series, make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new around here so you do get notified when more episodes do come out. But we're profitable. We're doing pretty well. We're exporting like crazy. Money's coming in. So I can now spend that excess money in providing services throughout FishTown before we go expansion crazy. So today, I want to sort out the sewage. I want to create a little bit of a water treatment plant somewhere. But also, I want to change up the public transport. Now, I know we've got buses, but we are limited on the buses because we can only keep expanding the depot so much. We're almost at the capacity of 41. I can keep adding garages and that's all great, but I need something more frequent, faster, and higher capacity. And I asked you guys what I should kind of start with first, whether it should be subways or trams or whatever it may be. A lot of you guys want to see trams before we do subways, so I feel like we need to implement some trams. Now, there's been some updates to the game. We do have new stuff that we can utilize on the trams. We've got these new little junction station loop things and all that pretty much jazzable stuff. But before I do anything, I need to make sure the roads that I'm going to run the trams on are 4 lanes. I don't want them to run down any 2-lane roads. Because that's where the stop and start jams then begin. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to replace my bus routes with the tram system. I know it's wild, right? It's absolutely wild. So, there's going to be some problems. Now, looking at the bus routes as of right now, they come into the harbour, they go down here, they pretty much run along the main road, and that's pretty much it. So we need to upgrade these main roads then to being 4 lanes, and that's going to be a little bit of an issue with areas where we've got the bike lanes and the tight-knit communities. It's going to cause a lot of problems. So let's see these problems unveil. So trams anyway, we can do normal tracks that are separated from the road. I'm not too bothered about that. I can upgrade the road to include the trams. That's all pretty good. But let's just start with medium roads and let's just see if we can actually upgrade all of this. So that's a 4-lane road already. Now we're going to have trouble upgrading this one because the water tower's there. So let me just reposition the water tower for just a moment. I'm just going to pull it there for a second. And if I turn off, which is the turn off got to do? Is it the snapping box? Yes. Right. This is going to cause some big problems now as we try and link all this going down. So we've got a problem with a connection just there. So let me come back to that. And place you in. Actually, let me do this all paused because I feel like there's going to be a lot of deletings that I do need to rejig about. So let's just see what I can do first. So get this all in. Now, I could anarchy it, but it's never a good thing. Oh, there's a bit of path there that I didn't upgrade with bike lanes. Right, let's keep this going. This is going to cause so much chaos. Right, there's a little park here I'm going to have to delete. I will eventually get this all back in. Don't worry. Don't worry. Right, bam. Oh, there is a little path there. How did I miss all those? I'm sure I literally went round and upgraded all of the paths to include bike lanes. How did I miss so many? Right, this is... It's painful, but necessary. Now, something I'm noticing is it's moving the zoning away from the road. And that's because I think it's something to do with the snapping that I'm doing as well. It's never great. I'm not going to upgrade that because we're going to loop that back round with our road. What becomes... Oh, okay, there's some bike parking just there. There's so much bike stuff I'm now deleting, which is never a good thing. Right, that's all now upgraded. So let me just now incorporate the tram tracks on these. So... How do I do this now? Yeah, it's just as simple as implementing like that, isn't it? Now, isn't there like a variation of this I can do? Is it got to be on the outside, or can we incorporate the trams, you know, in the middle of the road? Where's my upgrades for this? Road services, highways, large roads. Have I done the wrong style of road, maybe? Large roads, cul-de-sacs, parking spaces. I thought we could do it where it's in the middle, or does that come down to where... we incorporate the stops on these? Can they be done in the middle? Are they going to have to be on the outside? I always thought trams were on the inside. Or am I just being stupid? I don't know if I'm just being stupid or not. I don't know. But let me now run this all the way down to here, where we'll then incorporate the one-way system to go all the way around. There we go. And then links itself back to go back down the opposite side. Right. There is so many issues here. I think the way that this has all been set up in the zone is because of how we've had to kind of snap it all in. So it's really going to change this area. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this. But let me run this all the way down. Oh, that's still one-way road, tram track lines, isn't it? Why is this not upgrading? Wait, what's going on here? There we go. So run that all the way down to the junction. And then we're kind of done for this area. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to get rid of all of the bus lines. So let's go to these real quick. Let me just delete every single one. Get rid. And then we'll get rid of all of the bus stops. So the bus stops in question. The problem with these bus stops is they do incorporate some bike parking. And I'm going to get rid of the taxi stuff as well. We're going to get rid of it all because we are improving it and changing it to a higher capacity system. Right, leave you in. Get rid. We did get rid of other taxis, didn't we? Yeah. So taxis are no longer needed. Right, get rid of all of you. Get rid of you. This is actually a bigger job than I was expecting it to be. Right, I know that's all bike parking there, but we're going to replace it with actual parking. Someone put a comment on the previous video going, Seniac, you know you need to add bike car parks, right? You know, parking for bikes. And I'm like, wait, are you crazy? Are you ignoring the gazillions of bike parkings I got implemented in? What is going on here right now? Right, anyway. Where was we? So let's get rid of these here and here and here. Now, this is the only problem with setting it up at a later stage is that we kind of have to delete half the town, which is not a good thing, is it? It's not a good thing. Okay, let me now just quickly implement the paths that I've now deleted. Right, you're in. You need to be upgraded. Where else did I delete it? You need to be upgraded. And I'm sure there was more I implemented in. I'm sure there's like a, oh, over here. And I've got to place one in there. There we go. And I think there was probably more, but I can't quite remember at this point. Right. Very good. Very good. So that's just that one side there all set up. I've got to do this bit, which this bit's a little bit easier. And then I can start running trams. But let me just first get our first tram line going directly to the harbour, because I've got an idea for how we can kind of set this all up. So if I go from there and then run this all the way down. Now, it's going to have to run up to here because we want them to be able to access this, but I'm going to keep it completely separate. So I'm wondering if it's a good idea to do it as a junction of some sorts that runs maybe parallel here. So if I got it to run parallel there, I could then incorporate the transition to the city bus station. Oh, I no longer need the city bus station, do I? Actually, I can get rid of that. I can get rid of you. And I can then replace it for maybe something like this. Yes, that's interesting. I don't want to do it like that because this is a whole lot better. Right, let me drop that there. Now, this is overlapping, so I'm going to have to anarchy this in, unfortunately. So implement you there, and then we get this system where we're able to attach to it. And we've just got to figure out where the best point is to lead this in. Now, unfortunately, you can't add tram tracks to the highway road, so this is going to have to be no longer a highway road. So let's just do a normal style road connecting off this. Bam. And I'm wondering if there's a point here to which I can just run off my tram track line. So if I just went like, let me get rid of the anarchy just in case it just doesn't work. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. So which is in and which is out? So that's obviously the inlet. And this is the outlet. So if I brought this to there. And then I brought this into there. Where could we create the transition here? Because we're onto something here with this nice little transition. So if I brought you to there and then do our one-way system. So we're incorporating you. Bend. So that's a 27 by a 27-ish. We'll work with that. And then, of course, I want to run you directly down to there. But where does this bend happen here? So I know there to there is a 28-ish. So there we go. And then run you to there. Right, that's a nice, simple transition in to the harbour area to transport the passengers over. I don't know how this works, whether they kind of walk out this side and then off they go. Or whether they can walk out the back. I don't know exactly how that works. And what I mean by that is, am I able to add a path for a connection? I don't think it... I'm going to leave that there. I don't think it works like that, but let's just see what happens. So let's create then our first line that just runs down this whole kind of journey. Before then we extend it to Coral Reef Works and Tentacleton, guys. Yes, I said the name. It is hilarious. Deal with it, okay? Deal with it right now. It's hilarious. Anywho, let's get the stops all set up then. So, tram stops then. There's nothing special where you can incorporate bikes on this. Not like you can do with the bus station. So let's implement you one there and one there. Nice, beautiful tram stop. Simple, simple, and simple. Right, there we go. And then every so often, we're going to run it down. All right, bam, bam. Now, this means it's probably not going to favor my bike routes anymore. So I'm going to do one just there because there is a school, and we'll do one in the middle just here. So every so often, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's not going to favour my bike routes anymore because we've technically now got rid of them. All right, one there and there. And do I do one here? I feel like we can rely on the... You know what? No, I am going to do one here and here. Okay. We're going to incorporate one just there and there for the crossing. We'll do one there and there. And then we're pretty much leading all the way down, which will then connect to here. So if I do a stop there, and then run this all the way back. All right, keep this going. Now, I always forget, because I don't often use trams when I build cities in City Skylines. So I do forget what the size and the capacity of each tram is. All right, there we go. There we go. And obviously, we've got to build the tram depot. But this is going to be interesting. All the way down and in. That's complete. So, by default then, they want to incorporate... There's 19 stops on this tram line. They want to incorporate 10 vehicles. I'm going to set the ticket price free. But we might add to that number. Now, obviously, we need to add in a tram depot. Which the tram depot itself is not too big of a building. And... it would be nice to kind of... this is the question. Would we bring back buses at some point? Maybe. Maybe once we start to become more wider on the city builds. But until then, I think no. So I might get rid of that. But I might position the tram connection elsewhere. I could position it over here. That's actually quite a nice little spot. Right, I'm going to position it here. Or here. Where do I go? I feel like I go up this side a bit further. Right, I'm going to do it there. And I like to do perimeter roads. You guys should know this by now. I like to build perimeter roads. Although, the perimeter road connection there is going to be a little bit tight. Right, there we go. There is extensions we can add on. So, by default... Oh, that's a good point. By default, it has 10. This will give us an extra 5. Right, okay. So, maybe we don't need 10 vehicles on the line, then. I'm going to drop this, because it's also going to share some of the same lines of other stuff. So, I'm going to bring this to 5. And then see how we get on with that. And then, obviously, we need to upgrade to allow the tram tracks to run out this way to connect to there, because it's obviously going to connect to here. And then we'll do something at the end of that to kind of bring them to an end. Right, that one's then done. We're going to obviously run down this direction. Now, we're going to have some real fun here, boys, trying to tear through this area. This is even worse than the previous one. So, first things first, then, we've actually got buildings we now need to rejig. So we got a school extension building, which I'm going to have to place over here. So Anarchy is unfortunately going to have to help me. There we go. And over here we have a small police station, which actually I'm going to delete it in favour of placing down a bigger police station is what I'm going to do. Right. We'll come back to all that stuff. So I owe the area a bigger police station. Let's now upgrade to the wider roads, and it's going to delete so many buildings. Did you see how many people were waiting at that bus stop over there? We need trams. We need to carry people in bulk. It's so important. So important. Now, as this area is going to fizzle out, I think we can get away with this being a singular road. I think we can. Now, what would we do for the end? I mean, having a little spinneroony like that is pretty good. But I think we just keep it, like I said, like previously, like super simple. Right, we're going to have a stop here and here. We're going to bring it in. And then I'll incorporate a stop there and... Ooh, maybe not then. Oh, no track connection, of course. You got to pull it on where there's track. So if I went all the way to the end, we don't fully have anything for us to end there. So we'll have to sort that out in just a moment. So let's get back in business then. So one there and there. We'll do one there and there. I'll do one there and there. Oh, there's a bit of road here that's not actually upgraded to 4-lane. that was weird, wasn't it? That was weird. So we got a couple of stops there. We'll do a stop there and there. And I'm going to do one stop here. And then somehow we need to get these to kind of like connect. Now, I've never played around with this, so I don't exactly know how this is ultimately going to work for a connection. So if I just come off like that, right, can I not just go like this? No. The answer's, of course, no. So what if I incorporated this little bendy-wendy here at the end as a peninsula? I mean, I don't favour it. That was a signature building I just deleted, by the way. I could do that, or I could create like a loop. You know what I mean? I could create like a little bit of a loop. Well, let me get rid of all this zoning, by the way, first. There we go. I could create like a little bit of a road loop. So if I go for the dirt road situation, which I'm not sure if I'm able to utilize just a dirt road. So if I come off here to there, and I come off there to there, I could bend you like that. I can create something nice here. To there. And then have that run in. And I'm wondering if I ran you to there. Something like that. And then we get something a little bit different on this little peninsula. It's just something a little bit different. Now, in reality, if it allows you to do a one-way system, which you can't get that on that. No. I'm going to have to, unfortunately... Well, it's not unfortunate. I'm just going to have to upgrade you and you to that style. And then end it with something like this. So if I put that there, we get rid of you and put it like that. And that becomes the end. And it becomes like a little bit of a feature of the end of the peninsula, doesn't it? I kind of like that. It does become a little bit of a feature. So I'll do these low density waterfront properties. Leave them back to normal. That's pretty much as it is. All this is now going to have to be rejigged about. And then these stops, by the way, that becomes the end stop. And now this is the thing I can do. I can have one that goes straight down and one also that goes towards the harbour but doesn't go to the harbour. But one's got to go to Kensington. That's what's really important for the bikes. So we'll start with one here then. And then we'll bring this going down. So picking everybody up. Now this is where it crosses over the other line. And this is why we don't need as many trams on these routes. So that will link back round. There we go. Lots of stops. But because of the capacity of the tram, you don't need as many vehicles as we had buses. Because they just, in reality, carry a lot more. So we've got a line straight down to there. We've got a line straight around to there. I'm then going to do a line that comes down here and then goes this way. So I've got the same problem here as well, where we've got no way to kind of low-key end it at the minute. So if I did that there and then there. So how am I ending this then? I might just for now, because we haven't got any plans to extend it just yet, end it like that. Okay, it's just really simple, really easy. So let's get this all done. So it shares with the other line. So all three lines, they crisscross in their own ways. And that's what we're after. So you're only really, at most, 2 tram lines, at most, away from your destination. Most destinations, you're only 1 tram line away. Right, those other tram routes then, because obviously they're going to now be a lot bigger. We're going to put the minimum amount of vehicles on them. Right, and then we'll see what comes from it. So this one should be a lot less, only 4. So that's a grand total then of 14 trams that are going to get pumped out of my tram depot, and I can only have up to 15 until I have to then build an additional tram depot. But this is transformed and will transform everything, and it's going to cause me a lot of problems until we're back up to normal. I got these beautiful end pieces right now, which is really, really interesting. Transitions nicely to the passenger harbour to get in and out of the area. Comes down to all these ways. All these buildings now have to be rejigged, readjusted, which is going to be a bit of a problem for me. I'm just hoping they don't build too big of a building. And a lot of this zoning now doesn't really touch the 4-lane road, which is good in a way because it keeps the traffic off it and keeps it flowy. Right, play mode. Let's go fast forward as well. And I'll just naturally wait for everything to regen. So we will take a little bit of a population hit right now. We will take a little bit of a population hit. Now, I'm very, very well aware that we need to incorporate. I'm wondering if I get rid of all this. It's a different style of zoning, isn't it? So if I got rid of all of that there. I think the zoning doesn't help. That's all bike stuff, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think the zoning helps. But we'll just see what kind of bounces back from it. We'll see what bounces back. Yeah. Right. I just realised something. Is it is it because the tram tracks are not in the middle because we have bike lanes? Is that the reasoning behind this? I'm not too sure. But here comes the tram anyway. So they have a 240 capacity, which the buses had nowhere near that. So these can now run down and they can now pick up people in bulk. So I'm going to wait for this tram to make its way all the way back down. Because this is going to be a game changer. I mean, a few initial trams will be quite busy. But this is the way to go about it, boys. I feel like. I like that we still get to keep our bike lane in, sorry. So is that the reason why I don't have the tram tracks in the middle of the road? Is because we have the bike lanes implemented? I'm going to assume that's what it is. I'll test it out in just a minute anyway, just see if that is the answer. Right, picking up a bulk of people. But obviously this is going to Kensington. So we need a couple of trams to circle through to move the max amount of people that we've got here. Right, this is good stuff. Obviously you can't pick everybody up. Some people got enough there. But give it time and the trams will be nicely balanced out. They would have moved the bulk of people. We would have been all good. Right. This is fantastic. A few people getting off there. Oh, the tram is quicker than that truck. Look at it go. Look at it go. Holy moly. Right, I want to see where it drops off the bulk of these people. Right, next up is just here. Okay, just dropped off a load of people there. Nice. But I can see us having to maybe build 1 or 2 more. But I'll give that time to cycle on through anyway. Right, the building is abandoned right now. So we need to get that police station back in. Because crime is not looking too good, Briv. Right, so police and administration. I can't afford the bigger ones just yet, but we can buy the city one, which is actually not a bad shout, and it does, like I say, it does almost fit within this area, but not quite. So what's here, by the way? I'm gonna get rid of these 2 bike things here. I'm gonna get rid of all of this, and then we're gonna place our beautiful little police station just there. Our city police station. And then what zoning have we got around here? So get rid of all of that. Get some of you built in. And we have to kind of reconfigure a lot of our zoning. To be able to fill in all the gaps. Is what we've got to do. We've got to fill in those gaps, boys. Right, what's going on here then with this zoning? So this is all commercial. We'll probably do some like high density commercial here. So get rid of all of this. Completely messed up all my zoning this didn't it? It completely messed it all up, but we'll get there in the end. We will get there in the end. Right, same thing over here as well. I might actually, just for the sake of it, get rid of all the zoning. Now that backs on to the 4-lane road. I'm so sorry, but it's all got to go now at this point. Okay, those can stay. They can go. Get rid of them. Get rid of all of these here. It's the changing of the times, boys. The changing of the times. If it don't make sense, it's out of here. Right, wait for it to all delete itself, and then we'll come back and rejig it. Alright, get rid of all of you. Some of it's okay. It can stay like that. I'm not too bothered. But we're redoing it. We've lost so much population, by the way, but at least we can now slightly start to get it all back in. So we'll do some high density, and we'll kind of do it in stages. Right, I'm realizing not all of it wants to be where you want it to be. So we're going to get a wide variety of buildings in. Right, let's do some low rent housing. We'll do a bit of medium density. There we go. And we need to do some commercial. I've got rid of so much commercial, haven't I? Alright, get rid of all of you. And we'll do a nice chunky commercial area. And then see how we get on with that. Right, we got to low-key build it all back up again is what we've got to do. And we will get some taller buildings in them than we had before. And then that's when we have to kind of like then start rejigging the elevation changes of all the buildings. Right, I don't want to run down doing this too much right now because this is not what I'm trying to get at. It's not what I'm trying to get at here, but it's something I've got to get at here. You know what I mean? So we'll wait for all that zoning to be done and be built back up because this has bounced back in this area, so that's worked out pretty well. But there's still so much we've still got to do. Right, in the meantime then, Are we still waiting them to kind of move the majority of all those people? So there was a lot of people waiting down here. When's the next tram on the way down? There's one there. Oh, that can carry a bulk of people. Oh no, it's gonna pretty much fill up by the time it gets there. So it hasn't been enough circulations yet for them to get rid of the majority of the people. So the next tram after this is going to be then taking the dent out of this one. So 2 more trams that go here, and then that's completely cleared that backlog. So the backlog is almost getting there. We're almost getting there, boys. That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know. Right, very good, very good, very good, very good. Very good. Right, so let's sort out some of the sewage stuff then. So the sewage has been going on for quite some time right now. We need to clear that. So a water treatment plant would be a good idea. Now, the water treatment plants are actually a little bit more expensive than I originally thought. So we're going to have to come back to that in just a minute. Right, I need to get everybody moved back in again, boys. We need everybody moved back in right now. And one of my big problems is we don't have enough low density residential. So let's see what we can do here. We'll go with the Southwest housing style. And we'll just fill all that in there. Spend that demand instantly. Spend it, spend it, spend it. And how are we looking over here then? So we've got some decent style buildings, but they'll all eventually squeeze themselves in. I'm going to get rid of all of that zone in there. I'm going to get rid of... I mean, them size buildings are actually perfect for that region. I just can't lose sight of all this low density residential demand that we've now got. Can't lose sight of it. Right. That will now squeeze all itself in. Waiting for a few buildings there to be disappeared. Where do we put that police station, by the way? It's just here, the little city one. There is an upgrade we can add to it, but we'll save it. We're saving money right now for the water treatment plant. That's what we're doing. We have taken a bit of a population hit, by the way. So we are naturally going to have to grow that back. We understand that. It's our fault. It is our fault. The building collapsed, boys. It's a crime probability, they say. Yes, we get that. We understand that right now. I've destroyed everyone's livelihoods. I understand what is going on. Right, I'm going to have to bucket some more residential. Because that demand is going nowhere. Well, there's no little nooks and crannies, is there? No. No, 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 no. Right, that backlog now then, that next tram to come down, we're looking like it's going to clear it. Where is it? It also, it's dependent on which way they're going. Are they going towards the harbour? Are they going towards Kensington? So, you know, that's another possibility we got to think of at the same time. So the tram on the way down right now. Oh, that got filled up. Or about the one behind it? I mean, there's not really that many people now left to pick up. And that tram was not for those people. So, yeah, we're back to normal now. We are hopefully now back to normal. Right, we've got some high density demand now creeping in. So let me do some smaller, low rent house and style buildings. There we go. And that demand will get spent pretty instantly. Damn, it's getting busy here. It feels so weird now with the gaps and the spaces. It really does. It is starting to feel super weird. So we're doing some different styles. Got that low rent in, boy. Let me just go for a whole big boy there. I'm hoping it's going to be different styles. Oh, that's the perfect height. That is the perfect height right there. You don't want them too big. Just want them nice and simple. Right. I've got to get all those residents moved back in again. That's my biggest pain right now. Is getting everybody moved back in. Okay, so beachfront property. Definitely squeezing a couple here right now. Doing a couple there. Just gonna finish off that little area just right. And I wonder if any signature buildings will play a good role for us. Now, I don't know which is classed as which. But do any of them... Oh, that's a nice building. Do we have any spaces that are, like, decent enough to kind of fill in? Because some of these are way too big. Way too big for what we need them to be. I know we got a couple of signature buildings just there. We got like a painter's mansion. I know we got rid of one of the signature buildings. I don't know whether to like just sacrifice one area for one of these. I might go for the painter's mansion. I like the idea of the painter's mansion being near the water. But I don't know what... I don't know who to risk. Oh, there we go. Perfect. We'll place you there. Painter's Mansion can enjoy painting the waterfront. Right, we've almost got enough right now for our water treatment plant, by the way. Now, when it comes to people being moved about... wow, look at that. 13,600 people are utilizing the TRAM network. Now, here are my routes. Obviously, line 3 is the one that's not being utilized the most. But people are definitely being moved. None of the trams are overloaded, which is great to see. So I think it's worked out pretty well. Right, abandoned now for the high crime probability. Even though the average crime probability, I mean, it's 8%. Would you say that's high? I think it's more of a capacity issue, isn't it? Is what we're kind of dealing with at this point. Right, we've got all the demands now in. So let's see what we can squeeze in. So we're going to go for some more high density. But I'm going to play around with some stuff. So we should have a bunch of different size and designs there for that little bit of a block. And then we'll go medium density here. So again, completely staggering the skyline. And I'm going to go medium density over here as well. I'm just going to fill this all in. And now we're slowly getting there. I wonder if it's wise to maybe get in some commercial there and there. There's not really any commercial around this area. They've got to go some distance to do some shopping, right? I'm going to replace that with some commercial. Surprised I haven't kind of done it like that, to be honest with you. Right, we now have enough for a water treatment plant. So, this is the water treatment plant. I feel like within this vicinity is probably a good shout because it is the end of the industrialized area. So I reckon I'm going to place it. No, there was a way to do this, wasn't there? I'm sure there was a way in which I could kind of incorporate a system. So 104 is the center. I'm sure we came up by 2. I'll explain why in just a minute. I'm sure it was 2. So if I put you there, It meant the upgrades on it meant that that hangs down like that. Well, where that goes, there... No, it was back by 3. Damn it. Right, hold on. I've anarchied the heebie-jeebies out of this. Right, let me delete and then redo it. Oh, is there something there? Yeah. $48. Is that 48? 40. Have I done that right? 104. 104. Yeah, I just think the building's longer on the one side. Anywho, completely ignore all that, by the way. Completely ignore that. So we have sewage treatment and we have a water output at the same time. So the water treatment plant, by the way, it processes sewage and purifies its pollutants. Is it enough that I can get rid of my tower? I don't think so just yet. But it is enough that I can get rid of the sewage outlet. And then I can no longer... I'm no longer going to be dropping poop into the water. So I've got plenty of room around this right now to add the extensions on. And it will work out very well for us. Very well for us. So that's going to be a work in progress. But now we've handled a lot of the solution, the pollution, sorry, of the sewage. We've got many, many issues over here. Collapsed because of happiness and the crime probability. We've got abandoned because of the happiness and the crime and the noise pollution as well at the same time. Really? There's noise pollution around here? Is that true? How true is that? Okay, you could argue, yeah, but it's not, can't be enough to affect it, right? But I think that I honestly also feel like as well, it's kind of got to be down to the fact that we got rid of a lot of people by doing that mass purge with the buildings. But we are slowly starting to get people moving back in. So that's a good thing. We're going to get rid of the zoning just here now. So this is just the natural progression of the area. It becomes the next density up. So zone all U. We'll go all medium. So it's a little bit different. And then it staggers the skyline just nice. And that's what we're kind of after more than anything. So hopefully it just keeps bringing the people all in. Now, it's stuff I've got to do over here as well. I'm not oblivious to all of this. So if I got rid of all of that, if I did a small little strip there. Alright, get rid of all of you. And then ran that all the way down. And into there. You get a different style of building altogether. And then it should stagger down, like I said, stagger down the buildings going down so it doesn't look as sharp. Nice. So I'm getting rid of people, but also bringing people in, and that's the important part of all of this. And money's still being made. It's just a transitioning period we've got set up. So this is the people now making their way over here. I don't think they can cross. Well, actually, that's a good point. We'll see now. We'll see. If they can cross there, then that's another bonus for us. Yes, they can. Oh, okay. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, also, I just realized something. People said I got to turn snapping off. Where's snapping? Oh, here. And that will then get rid of any tree. Thank you so much. I'm an absolute fool and I completely forgot about it. Right. Apparently it's not beneficial for everybody to cross over. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But I wonder if I did it on either side. Does anybody find any benefit in it? Can they walk into the back of the building? They can walk into the back of the building, but I wonder if I... Nah, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter, boys. It doesn't matter. Will they turn in here? No, they're still hard programmed to go that way. So it is what it is. It is what it is, unfortunately. Right, FishTown's looking pretty fantastic. There's been a big crash just there. We've got to solve all this office problem, which will eventually... I'm hoping that it's going to solve itself. I know I need to do more policing. So that is a big factor. My policing budget's not low, is it? Police, no, it's normal. But I think I need to replace the police station over on this side with a bigger version. So if I got the city one here as well, and then that's the small police station I've got, which arrested criminals is super high. But this can pump out a lot more vehicles and also arrest a lot more criminals all at once. So that's pretty nice. And I'm hoping that will then push us in the right direction to not having so much crime. Right, so population. Well, let me see the graphs. I want to see the population graph. So citizens. So we were at, let's just call that 12 and, no, let's just call that 13,000. So we're not far off being where we originally was before I started upgrading all the roads and then got rid of all the buildings. We're not far off that. We are not far off it. And would you say the trams have helped? I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd say so. I think it's a lot, they're not as frequent as the buses, but they are able to carry a lot more people at once. So in reality, we are transporting more people. We should have actually took a look at what the buses were doing before we incorporated the trams. Like, we're nearly at 20,000 right now. As more and more people move to the island, this is perfect. I like this little terminal station there we've got. We got the same thing over here as well. That will extend anyway. But it has kind of low-key worked out. Now, what are people not happy about the most right now? Traffic, apparently. I didn't even know that we had traffic. Unreliable mail service. Now, we did have a mail service in. Wouldn't say it's the best. Oh, we didn't have anything over here. But it's mainly down to the fact there's no sorting facility. So we do have a post office just over there. I could do another one, but there's no sorting. We need the post sorting facility, which is a decent sized building. But it's something that we got to get in so we can get the mail sorted in and out of the region. And then everybody should then slowly become a little bit happier. That medium density is creeping back up. And we've got a nice little stagger now for that little side. I feel like we need to do it in this vicinity here now. The little stagger. So get rid of everything all there. And then drop the zoning in here for some medium. And then we're back in business. I'm keeping some spots open because we are going to need commercial and whatnot. Unemployment is super low, so I've got to get all those people back in after that huge population dip. We've got to get them all back in. And I'm going to also start getting rid of this zoning at the back end. And it would be nice to drop in here the medium density as well. And you can see the lot. Ooh, hello, these are bigger buildings. Where did these come from? How did these get placed down here? But you can see where the population zones are now starting to appear, which is super important. We got the tram system now implemented, which is amazing. They probably will add to the traffic. It's probably why we've got that little bit of unhappiness on the old traffic front. You know, it is what it is. We got the junctions all set up. Vehicles are flowing in. But at some point, we will need to create a proper junction in all of the areas in reality, not just the one. So it's slowly happening. Water treatment's done. We've pretty much got the population back to where it was. Yeah, it's borderline there. So that's good news. Tram system's in. Water treatment's now being handled. We can now go back to being a bit more expansion crazy. I'm hoping we've now solved a lot of the crime issues we were once experiencing. So if I check out the crime rate as a stat, oh, that's heavily dropped. Okay, it was super high. Now we've dropped it to record lows. Well, lows for a long time. So that's good news then. Everything that we've done today has actually been a huge benefit for FishTown. So now we can go back to the bigger projects at hand. The bigger projects at hand, boys. Very exciting right now. And I know it's working well because our industrial demand is slightly growing. So unemployment is still super low. We still have some job availability. Not much more availability though. Only 200 spots, 170 odd spots here currently open. But we got to look towards educating people higher to what they currently are. And we need to start making plans for our bigger city, which is going to be super important for us. So I'm excited for this. If there's anything that you guys want me to maybe focus on in the coming episodes, please let me know in the comment section down below. But until next time, we will see you all soon. So, goodbye.